Hey, Alliance to Protect Children, we're here. Ken Williams and Jeff Barkey has asked us to help and participate and just be out here. They've been working so hard to get people to hear and know why it is important and vital for us to open up our schools here in Orange County and across California. They are trying to shut down our economy, which they have. They've put people out of work, and they've basically trying to dumb down our children, trying to, you know, not educate them. However, I have to say, with indoctrination going at the schools, I'm kind of torn here whether we should have these schools open or not, but we absolutely should be the ones making that decision. Governor Newsom is absolutely not the person who should be making these decisions for us. Here are the crowds.
Back in sports! Back in school! 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 Back in sports! Back in
Well, I think the people have spoken. So,
hey, good morning. How are you all? My name is Dr. Ken Williams. I'm president of the Orange County Board of Education, and welcome. Bienvenidos. Buenos dias. You're welcome to be here. We love you. I first want to introduce Lee on my right, who's one of those individuals that we're fighting for, that we're purposely making an effort for them, for their education endeavors. And this is, where's Franklin? Franklin, my friend to my left, a young man who needs schools to be open, who needs that direct academic instruction. These are the young children, the people who we're fighting for, and the reason why we're here today. On July 17th, Governor Gavin Newsom ordered all public school districts located within the 32 counties of the state's coronavirus watch list to shut down in-person learning until their county has been off that list for 14 days. Unfortunately, this does not adequately ensure that children of working single parents are adequately educated through the failed distance learning methodologies. The order also does not ensure that children born to immigrant parents who don't read English or understand English are provided sufficient instruction and supervision. Further, Governor Newsom has failed to address how high-risk students and those without adequate parental support will navigate the coming weeks and potential for other future public health decisions that will close down schools. Therefore, we believe that the July 17th order of Governor Gavin Newsom goes against the state and U.S. Constitution and takes away our liberties and freedoms. Right. 2 weeks later, on July 28th, my incredible board, who you will meet in a few seconds here, we voted unanimously to begin litigation against the California governor and the California as well as the California public health officer to seek a court order that sets aside the state's order preventing schools from holding in-person classroom instruction. Ladies and gentlemen, we live in a great country. We live in a great country that is under attack, that potentially may forever be changed unless we become involved and we're a part of the future success of it. I thank you all for being here, because you being here touches my life. Each and every one of you. What you have done, the sacrifice to be here, is important to give us the support. My board has been under a merciless attack, and it's so good and comforting to know that you are here. Ladies and gentlemen, as is the protocol, and the way we open up things here at the County Board of Education, we will give our allegiance to this great flag to my right. That'll be led by my dear friend and my pastor, Pastor Gail Oliver.
America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Under God.
USA! 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 USA!
You see, it doesn't matter what color of skin you have, because red, yellow, black, and white, Jesus loves all the children. So,
we're all essential.
we are all Americans. We're not divided by gender, color of our skin, ethnicity, or where we come from or what we believe.
That's right.
We're all Americans, and we want to give everybody that opportunity to live for their freedoms and liberties and the life that they want to lead.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's with my pleasure that I will introduce next to you the Vice President of our board and the spiritual leader, in many sense, Mmr Vaccine.
Thank you so much. You don't know how much it means to all of us that you're here today. We are fighting because of you. You give us the strength and the will to fight every day for our kids. That's our job. That's why you elected us, and we'll stand here and fight until we win. And so I really want to thank everybody for being behind us, and we feel your love, and we feel your strength, and we feel your will, and we're here to fight for everyone, and we'll keep this thing going. We know that for many, many children, there is far more risk to them being out of school than in school. So my husband taught me one thing about speaking, because he's a great speaker. He said, be good, be funny, and be gone. I'm going to leave you with that, and I'm going to introduce next to you Dr. Lisa Sparks, who is my warrior and friend on this board and fighting with us every day. Take care.
Thank you. We are here fighting for your rights, fighting for your privileges, fighting for your kids and for families. And this is about helping the kids who might fall through the cracks.
Yep.
Right? That's why we're here, and we're so grateful that you all are here today. Thank you so much for coming out to show support. Thank you. We can't forget the mental health of our students. It's our understanding that many students, many of your children, have been harmed by this isolation. We're here to help help with that. With calls to suicide hotlines, and I saw a sign over here with a statistic of suicides among 15 to 19-year-olds. With calls to suicide hotlines dramatically increasing during this shutdown, we can't simply go along with these statewide plans that we know are harmful to our kids. We know they're not working, and we certainly don't want to deprive our kids of the educational and social benefits they get from attending school. So we're here to fight for your rights, and to fight for your kids, and to fight to get kids back in school where they need to be. Thank you. And I want to introduce Trustee Tim Shaw next. Thank you.
Well, hello everybody. My name is Tim Shaw. I represent the 4th District. It's kind of North Orange County. I got sworn in on July 1st, so I'm not even 2 months on the job, and I obviously got thrown straight into the deep end. But it's such a privilege to serve on this board with such great colleagues, and I just look up to them so much. And my family, you know, we do have 6 sons, and one of them is a special needs child. He's got autism spectrum disorder, and I can tell you it is so important to have that one-on-one interaction in his case, and we're just here to fight for that and to reopen schools in a smart way. Many years ago, God called me to serve a Spanish-speaking mission, and so I'm going to read a little statement, if you'll indulge me for a moment. We have some Spanish media here, so I wanted to say something. Nosotros queremos ayudar a los estudiantes que vienen de una familia donde los padres no hablan inglés. Si los estudiantes tienen que aprender en inglés, pero los padres no hablan inglés, en realidad los padres no pueden enseñar sus niños en esa manera. So with that, what I was saying is, if you have a family where the parents don't speak English, but the children are they're at home and they have to learn in English, obviously the parents aren't going to be able to help them as they should in that home setting. So, and we have so many languages spoken in this county, and that's the case with many families. So, and as my colleagues were mentioning, you know, when we got on this board and we took this vote to go ahead and sue the governor, I got several hundred emails. I sort of knew that it was incoming, and when I got home and opened my email inbox, and I was getting lots of messages of, you know, how dare you, you jerk, right? And it is very comforting to see so many of you. We knew that there was a nice silent majority, and we're not going to be silent anymore.
Thank you, Tim. That was very, very inspirational, the words that you shared to our Latino families and those families that really need to get back into school. So part of the process that began as a legitimate healthcare crisis back in March, when we saw this Chinese Corona-19 virus come across from Wuhan province there in China to America, it was a very sincere and serious potential crisis. And what we've learned in the last 6 months is not complete and it's not perfect. But we know that this virus is not the killer that it was said to be back there in March. Right. In fact, what we've seen, according to the science and data, and from my clinical experience treating patients with COVID, is that this disease, if you are at risk, yes, you are at risk and you have to be careful. But the children are at the lowest cohort or risk for this disease. And it doesn't make sense. The United States is the only outlier in the world that is closing down their society. And we know of the disastrous effects it's had upon each and every one of you here. Our private individual businesses, our families, we've all been hurt by this. But the other countries have successfully opened, and they're doing well. The schools are in session. And that's what we want to do. We want to provide that once again for this country so we can have our liberties and freedoms back, and we can have the economic engines on full thrust forward. Our next speaker is a well-known and outspoken primary care physician. He's spoken nationally, spoken on many cable news networks. I consider him an expert on this subject material. His name is Dr. Jeff Barkey.
Good morning, Patriots. Thank you so much for being here. Eternal vigilance is the price of liberty. Thomas Jefferson, thank you so much for the County Board of Education for having the courage to be vigilant on behalf of the children of Orange County. Orange County Classical Academy, the charter school that I'm the founder of and founding board member. We have some parents here from our school. We hope to open up very, very soon. The reality of the healthcare issue as a primary care physician, and I've treated both adults and children for COVID-19, is that children are at very low risk of COVID-19, and they are at much higher risk of being outside of the school system. I would love to tell you that we've seen a 25% decrease in child abuse reporting because child abuse has decreased. Unfortunately, that's not the case. We've seen decreased reporting because our main source of reporting, the schools and teachers and counselors, are not available now to interact with our children. Suicide rate amongst children is the highest we've ever seen. More children have died from suicide than from COVID-19. It's time that we get the kids back into school and out of the home.
Shame on Gavin Newsom! Shame on him! He's killing people.
The science supports this. Not only do children do very well with this if they get this at all, they either have no symptoms or very mild symptoms, but what we also see is very little, if any, evidence that children can spread this to at-risk adults. It just doesn't happen. And if we have at-risk adults, let's protect those adults, not at the expense of our children. So thank you for your fight. Thank you for supporting the effort of the Orange County Board of Education. And I'd like to introduce to you now a friend of mine, a board-certified infectious disease specialist who practices right here in Orange County, Dr. Michael Fitzgibbons.
All right.
Hello, everyone, and thank you for taking your time, your valuable time to be here. If anybody gets COVID-19 from this assembly, give me a call. I am a board-certified infectious disease specialist. I've been practicing in Orange County for 40 years. I haven't seen this many people since my 70th birthday. I have 3 children, and adult children, and 5 grandchildren, so I have a connection to public education. In fact, my father was a continuation school teacher in Richmond, California for 30 years. Dare I mention, he was a vice president of the American Federation of Teachers. My sisters were educators as well. But I'm here to recommend that the schools be reopened. Schools function to educate children, but also to help supervise them and perform affordable child care, and also to provide health and social resources. The failure to open the schools is likely to precipitate, an even greater economic recession. In fact, Barron's Financial Magazine suggested that the failure nationally to open schools would cost approximately $700 billion and precipitate a greater recession. The infectious consequences of opening the schools are manageable and can be mitigated, particularly for teachers who feel they are at risk. Pre-exposure prophylaxis, that is the way we controlled the HIV epidemic after 40 years, is available. For example, vitamin D3, 6,000 units daily. And by the way, you're getting a lot of vitamin D here. Ivermectin, 12 milligrams once every 3 to 4 weeks, plus zinc, 50 milligrams to 80 milligrams daily. Or, dare I say it, hydroxychloroquine, 400 milligrams weekly, and with zinc, 50 to 80 milligrams daily. And also MMR vaccine. MMR vaccine as a booster has substantial activity against COVID-19 because the spike protein of COVID-19 and the rubella virus spike protein have a 30% homology. They're the same, 30%. So when you get an MMR booster, you will get COVID-19 antibodies. But other vaccines also provide increased immunity. Influenza and Prevnar and BCG vaccine. Such strategies, schools have been opened in multiple countries, as Ken Williams said, Denmark, Germany, Austria, and other countries. Sweden as well, that's right. So, again, as others have said, well, young people and children have been spared the worst effects of the virus itself, the health and social impacts will be severe on them. The greatest consequence of COVID-19 is suffered by children and families with the fewest resources and needing the greatest support. The learning gap for disadvantaged children was significant before this pandemic, and it's going to be worse after. Children, these disadvantages will worsen and deepen the structural and social health inequalities of our society. School is more than about learning, it's about childcare for parents. It's about a vital place for public health contacts, for services for children. It's about access to mental health support, vaccinations, special therapies, school meals, physical activity, and early years services to help children get the best start in life. For many, these interventions are the difference between striving and thriving. While in-person contact at our schools, without in-person contact and teaching in our schools, our frayed social safety net cannot function. We risk failing a generation. Many people have expressed fear about repurposed medications to control the spread of COVID-19, but they don't seem to have an issue with the untested Zoom learning for children on a mass scale.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Fitzgibbons. He is a very well-known infectious disease specialist here in Orange County and statewide, and he has a large repertoire of information within his mind, and you saw it just then when he expressed probably way too much than most of us could comprehend. Next, I'm going to be introducing a very spontaneous individual. Come on up. I want everybody to know, and I want to introduce you to Layla. Layla has a little bit to tell us and share. Do you feel comfortable in sharing and telling us? Okay, take the microphone. You're up.
Way to go, girl.
Hey, Layla!
Woo!
So when this all started, they said it was just going to be a few weeks off of school, and I was like, okay, great, some time off of school. I'll have some time to do a lot of things I like. But then I kind of started missing school, and then like they did this whole distance learning thing, and I really didn't understand it, and it seemed really hard for me. And after every single day, my brain got fried. I felt like I couldn't do anything, and I really did not like it. And I wanted to go back to school really, really bad, until I really was thinking this year that we would go back to school, and we weren't. But now they're talking about going back to school, and I'm like, maybe they're just going to do what they did before and still do distance learning, which I'm doing right now. And
did you miss your friends at school?
Of course I did. Like, I lost many friendships.
And what about learning? Was it as effective or was it as good as being in the classroom receiving instruction from your teacher?
Well, it wasn't that good. Also, I lost like half of my Spanish when I went back. Because I go to a Spanish immersion school, and after that I went to Mexico, and my mom noticed that I lost half of my Spanish just because of the distance learning.
Well, thank you, Lala, for being here.
Thank you. We're proud of you, girl.
When the Orange County Board of Education made their decision, on July 28th of last month, we are being represented by a law firm called Tyler & Bursch.
Yeah, Tyler & Bursch.
Thank you.
This litigation that we are involved with, the governor, will not cost the taxpayers any money.
Thank you.
They are representing this board to as well as each and every one of you who are there pro bono. So let me introduce Mr. Robert Tyler, who's the principal legal counsel for our board, and he has a few things to share, as well as some of the, you'll get to meet some of the other people involved in this litigation. Robert.
Yes.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm surprised there's so many people out here. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
I'm Robert Tyler with Advocates for Faith and Freedom. It's a nonprofit legal organization that supports pro bono efforts like this. And our law firm that we are operating through is Tyler and Bursch. It's our practice that we brought a lawsuit directly in the California Supreme Court. There is a provision in the Constitution that when a case is of such magnitude and importance and urgent, that a case can be taken directly to the California Supreme Court via a petition. That is what we did. We filed it last Friday. The wonderful news, folks, is that it was yesterday, we received notice. Actually, I'm sorry, it was on Monday. We received a letter from the California Supreme Court ordering Governor Gavin Newsom to come and file an opposition to defend his closure of schools. That's a big deal. Why is this such a big deal? Because the California Supreme Court does not have to take this case. The California Supreme Court, typically in a circumstance like this, simply just summarily denies the request and says, go down to the trial courts. But this case is of such importance and significance, and it is so detrimental to children all across our state, that I believe the California Supreme Court recognizes that and said, Governor Newsom, you come and stand in front of us and defend your closure.
That's right. That's right.
There's some darn good reasons for that. And he's not going to be able to do that because we have many experts that we presented. Not only do we have many experts that we presented showing the fallacy of closing schools, but what we also have is we have great law behind us, because the California Constitution has an equal protection clause that says all kids, these kids here, kids with special needs, minority children, poor children, kids from single parent families, they all deserve an equal education just as much as white kids or other kids, wealthy kids. And so, folks, what we have is an opportunity. We're coming. This is not about trying to just protect, some Republican cause, some conservative cause. We're here to protect those who are at most risk, those who are disadvantaged in California's public school system. We also brought a case on behalf of private schools.
Good. Thank you.
Yes. Private schools that we brought to the California Supreme Court. And the California Supreme Court told Governor Newsom, you come in front of us and defend why you're closing private schools.
Right.
That's right.
So we have some of our clients here, and I'm going to introduce some of them to you. And I would like for you to, listen to them, and media, listen. This is about these kids and these families. This is why we're doing this. Please listen to their stories. But first, I want to bring up Taylor, and he's a young man who has a few words to say.
Newsom, please open up our schools. Me and my classmates are going to abide by the rules and won't make this a big joke.
Okay, our next client, Cecilia Ochoa. Cecilia, come forward. Cecilia does not speak English very well. She has kids. She's married. Her husband does not speak English very well. Yet they're supposed to teach their kids in English. How does that work? Cecilia Ochoa was instrumental in taking the school now known as the charter school, Palm Lane Elementary. She was a plaintiff in that case who helped bring change to the education system to allow that failing school to become a thriving school as a charter school.
Buenas tardes a todos. Yo estoy aquí porque nosotros vivimos en una comunidad muy pobre. Nosotros peleamos 5 años para que Pamplin se hiciera charter school. Los padres en la comunidad donde yo vivo somos padres muy pobres que todos trabajamos. Trabaja papá, trabaja mamá. Los padres no hablamos inglés, no sabemos nada de tecnología, no sabemos cómo poder ayudar a nuestros hijos. Ahorita con el internet estamos batallando mucho porque se apagan las computadoras, no podemos ayudar a nuestros hijos, no podemos comunicarnos con los maestros porque los maestros hablan en inglés y los niños están sumamente estresados en la casa. Y yo pido por favor al gobernador que abra la escuela, porque nosotros como padres no podemos ayudar a nuestros hijos. Podemos ayudar en muy poco, que es casi nada, pero los niños se están estresando mucho, se están dificultando mucho, y nosotros como padres nadie podemos ayudar a nuestros hijos porque no hablamos el idioma, no somos maestros, somos trabajadores. Y nosotros no podemos darle la educación que si la escuela estuviera abierta, los maestros que están preparados para hacer eso, ellos hagan lo que nosotros no podemos hacer. Gracias.
Thank you.
Okay, for those who don't speak Spanish very well, I've asked Tim to give a brief summary of what she said.
All right, I'll try to summarize that. Correct me if I go wrong, but I think you were saying that was a lot. But they come from the school and her kids. It's a working class area, and the parents are working and not able to just be at home helping the children with their school. And most of these parents do not speak English, so it's very difficult for them to be teachers at their home. And the students, their children are very stressed as they are feeling very like they're falling behind and not having that help at home like they need. And so, or the technology, thank you. So, and then the internet and other technological issues were very challenging for these parents in her school. Yep. That's okay. Okay.
Hey folks, this woman's a warrior, and thank you for what you do. Okay, let me next bring up Julie, please. Julie Fullerton. You know, when the Orange County Board of Education voted to take this action and to step forward and to step at the forefront to take legal action to try to protect the kids in their school district, Julie Fullerton was here, and she was there supporting this decision. Julie, I'm going to let you tell your story and who you represent generally, and speak of your family situation.
I'm Julie Fullerton. I'm a Costa Mesa resident, and I'm here to speak on behalf of children with special needs and different abilities. You've heard from someone who spoke about the children in her neighborhood, and neurotypical children who are already challenged by having to have all online classes. I mean, anybody who works exclusively online knows how hard it is to sit in front of a computer as an adult, much less a child, that much less someone with special needs. I'm talking about people with multiple disabilities, vision impairments, auditory processing disorders, autism spectrum disorders, Down syndrome, behavioral disabilities, ADHD. These are children who used to have access to classroom aids, to their IEP uninhibited. They had people to help them with the auditory processing. They needed to be, and to do those things, you need to be face-to-face. This is a hands-on help. They need to be able to read lips. They need to be able to be directed and make eye contact. They definitely can't be looking at someone with a mask. Because me, with a bachelor's degree in human development, has difficulty looking at someone with a mask. I recognize it for what it is. After a certain amount of time, it becomes psychological warfare. That's what it is. And again, that's me, someone with a degree who knows what it is, who still has to take a breath and address the person in front of me and look in their eyes and try to engage. So I'm speaking to these, there's some children around me, hopefully they'll get a chance to speak. And these are parents who already have been thrown under the bus. Some of them with vaccine injuries acknowledged by the court. Some still not acknowledged, but we know what we know. And others, whatever it is, you already have this child that you've given everything to take care of, and you're doing your part. People who have businesses that they've built from the ground up to accommodate their lifestyle of being there for their child. Now the business is gone and the aid for the children is gone. It's too much. It's too much, and we're not going to take it.
Okay, we have another person who's a petitioner or a plaintiff in our lawsuit. Actually, his name is Joaquin Cruz, and I'd like his family to come up, please. And Patricia, if you're here, come on up as well. Come on up here. Let's let everybody see him. What did you say?
This.
Come on, buddy.
You got it, buddy.
Okay, this is Joaquin Cruz. And Joaquin, why don't you share a little bit about your family situation and what the circumstances are for you?
Hi everyone, this is my wife, Patricia, and these are my children. That's Geralaya, that's Jeremiah, and he's Elijah, and the little one is Isaiah. So most of my children, most of their lives, they've been in special education, special programs, as you can see, and we did a special experiment with our last one, no shots. We had a little fight with our doctor, but that's another issue. But the point is that it's been very difficult. He's had a special. He had in his classroom 10 students with 4 teachers, and this little guy, he's severe autism. He's been really behind because even his home PA, behavioral therapist, they gave up on him. Not even through Zoom could he cooperate. And so with school right now, it's even worse. We have to be on top of him very often. Otherwise, he'll start bullying whoever's on the iPad, upside down, just make all kinds of things on the iPad. He has control of his iPad, so they don't control him. And that's Jeremiah. Jeremiah, he can't stay still that long. So yeah, and it's very stressful for Mom and I. We came a little bit late, but that's because we got to get everybody aboard, and it's been very stressful for Mom and I. Everything, it's just chaos. That's all I have to say. Sí, yo soy Joaquín y mi esposa se llama Patricia. Tenemos 3 niños, tenemos 4 niños, 3 de los que van a la escuela tienen autismo y tienen clases especiales. Lo han tenido casi la mayor parte de sus vidas. Y él ha tenido 4 estudiantes en su clase con 4 maestras, y él ha tenido uno a uno, one-on-one en su clase, y con Jeremiah también ha tenido apoyo de la maestra porque no han podido con él enseñándole en la escuela. Y ahorita que estamos en casa, como ustedes saben, es muy difícil para niños normales. Ahora para los niños con educaciones especiales es mucho más difícil para su mamá y para mí. Se paran y hacen muchas cosas en el iPad y se distraen, y tenemos que andar tras los 3 todo el tiempo, y no podemos trabajar también igual que antes. Gracias.
Do you want to say something? What's his name? Hey, Jackson. I'm Bob.
Hi, Jackson.
You want to say something?
Go, Buck. It's cool.
Back to school! Back to school!
saying that. As you can see, we're representing a very diverse group of people here.
Amen.
And they need help. And it's time for them to stop being used as political pawns.
That's right.
This shutdown has to end.
Yes.
We will now take any questions from the press. Do you have questions?
What are the next steps? Where do you go from here? The governor has to respond. There's multiple lawsuits. We've heard about the school in Fresno County getting the judge ruling in favor of them. But what's next? How long does the governor have? And then, you know, where could this go? Could this go as high as the U.S. Supreme Court? What do you think?
Yeah, I'll understand it. I understand what your question is. First of all, let me share some, again, great news. Okay, the question is, what are the next steps? And you also referenced the school in Fresno, Emmanuel Schools. And I want to reference some really good news. So we also represent Emmanuel Schools in Fresno County. Fresno County came and sought to get a temporary restraining order against the school because they said, we are going to open. We know what's best for the kids, and in spite of what the governor's order says and what the county's order says, we're going to open. And they did, and they were open for almost 2 weeks. And what happened was the county brings this application for temporary restraining order. We go in front of the judge yesterday at 3 o'clock, and guess what? We presented all the same expert witnesses, all the same expert declarations that we presented in this case for Orange County Board of Education. And Emmanuel Schools is the lead plaintiff in this case that we brought to the California Supreme Court on behalf of private schools. You know what the judge said? County, you haven't shown enough to be able to justify shutting down this private Christian school. So they set the hearing for what's called a preliminary injunction out 3 weeks, and then that hearing will come. But in the meantime, here's what's happening in the California Supreme Court. The governor has to file his responsive documents in the California Supreme Court. It's okay. The governor has to file his responsive documents this Friday at 3 o'clock. And we will all see what justification they are going to allege for shutting down schools and allowing innocent, disadvantaged children falling through the cracks. Why would he allow that? So Friday he's going to answer that. We will file a responsive pleading on Tuesday. And I suspect that sometime mid-next week to the end of the week, the California Supreme Court is going to make a decision as to whether California schools should reopen and whether or not these kids have a constitutional right to be in school to get their education.
And if they rule in favor of the governor, what happens next?
If they rule in favor of the governor, boy, I hope they don't. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. Any more press? Sorry, I can't hear you.
Take off your mouth. This county is just days away from being taken off the watch list. That affects, I know, Justice County, but would any of the lawsuit be moot, or would it get a bump, theoretically, from a county that comes off the watch list that can reopen?
You're questioning how is the possibility of a county coming off the watch list going to affect this lawsuit? And I will say that the problem here is that there's no saying what the governor's going to do, because according to the underlying law, the Emergency Services Act, which by the way we are challenging as being completely unconstitutional because it gives the governor, it allows the governor to effectively be a dictator in the state of California. And there is no end in sight, and the law does not provide an end to this dictatorial authority. And so we believe it's unconstitutional under both the federal and state constitutions. And so we're challenging that. Now, with regard to the counties, even if the governor opens up the county of Orange for some reason, he very easily can close it back down again, just like he did before. And so this is one of those situations where the courts will look at, is there a capability of repetition, of this happening again, and therefore the court has every right to decide this issue, even if the governor said, okay, we're opening up Orange County as a defense to our lawsuit. But we also have, in the private school lawsuit, we have schools from many different counties all over the state. So the governor's not going to be able to get out from underneath this this lawsuit by simply opening up Orange County.
Flying ball.
Any other questions?
Slither away every time.
One last question.
My interest in getting the kids back in school as soon as possible. I don't like the system of have and have-nots with the waivers that have been laid out. Why can't our district apply for a waiver as well to deal with this uncertainty of where we're going to be open or not? Like, let's get the kids in school now. And
Okay, let me let's no more comments, just questions. To answer your question, here's the deal: is that the system, these standards for counties, the counties are set up to fail. The schools are set up to fail the standards required by the state, and so to get themselves down to a point where you have to have, for example, under 100 cases. Well, how do you get to under 100 cases? Well, you just tell everybody to stay home and don't go get tested.
Yeah.
It's kind of ridiculous.
We've all got
Anyways, any other questions from media? Otherwise, we're concluding.
Are you fighting for full-time, or is hybrid okay with you?
We are welcome to hybrid. We want to. Hold on. Listen. I understand some of you are saying no hybrid. Listen to what I'm talking about. We want kids to have the right to be back in school in person full-time.
Yes.
If there's some parents, if there's some children who have some underlying health condition, and there's something with the family, and they say, we really want to do distance learning, let them. That's fine. Okay? So we're not asking to end distance learning for those families who might have a special need for that. Okay? Now back to President Ken Williams.
Okay, we're going to be ending this press conference. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for your patriotism. Thank you for your love of country, individual liberties, and freedoms. And may God bless you, and may God bless America. Thank you very much.
The media is the virus. 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 The media is the virus.
I don't want to turn
Propagandists. Leftist propagandists. That's what they are.
So, having to push my hand out here a little bit further, but I'm standing here with Cecilia, and we want to just talk a little bit. She works for the attorney firm, and I'm here with the Untitled Children. As we're here watching what's going on with trying to open up schools, what we're asking for is for our government not to make decisions for California. But we also want to address the indoctrination of the sex ed and other things in school. So we're kind of torn. We're torn because with our kids out of school, they can't indoctrinate them within the classrooms. However, they are doing a very good job indoctrinating them over distance learning. So we want to let parents know that this indoctrination is happening. It's just happening in many different ways. So can you tell us a little bit about what like help that you've given to parents? Or I know I've reached out to you asking for help with CSE and the sex ed and everything going on. How do you see this going when schools come back? And as parents now, this has given us an opportunity for parents to actually get informed. They thought we were lying. So what do you think? I just want your input on this. We're going to walk over here.
Things don't change. Parents need to stay involved. Just because the kids aren't home with you now doesn't mean that you just send them off to school and forget them. They're still under the public school system's watch. That means they're under their influence. So you need to stay involved. That's basically what we're encouraging. All parents stay involved.
Yep. So stay involved, parents. You heard this. I'm going to flip around. I'm just going to ask a couple questions. And here we go. So would you say then the answer, or one of our answers, would be for parents to get out and vote in November?
Without a doubt, without a doubt. And if you're California parents, we've got a tough road. Don't get discouraged. You need to stay informed and vote. It's going to take a couple of cycles, several cycles. We're in this for the long haul. And maybe our kids aren't the ones that are going to benefit, but we need to stay strong.
Thank you, Desiree. All right, so you heard it, and you've seen it here. Parents just want to be able to have that choice. You know, we want to, if a parent wants to send their kid back to school, school should be open. We're taxpayers. Our monies go to this. There are kids, like you've heard, that need full-time school. Now, you know, again, like I said, I'm torn. Alliance Protect Children, we're torn. But what we're not torn on is that parents should be the ones to make this choice. They should be the ones to decide. We have a right, and our children have a constitutional right to be able to learn, to be able to be in school, to be able to get the help that they need, the assistance. There are some parents, they can do this at home, and there are some parents that they just are not able, whether it be financial, whether it be a language barrier, whether it be an academic situation, whatever this is, we need Governor Newsom to stop dictating to us what we have to do. Our children and our parents have the right, and you have the right. So speak up, please. Come November, vote. I'm not going to tell you a party. What I'm going to tell you is start paying attention to legislation. Start paying attention to what these senators, assemblymen, you know, what our representatives, our school board members, our everybody basically, our college board members, what are they voting for? How are they voting? Who are they protecting? Are they protecting you, or are they protecting themselves and the radical organizations pushing this crazy agenda? So I'm going to say bye-bye and thank you for tuning in.